if you have a product, you're building a startup, or you work in a startup, or you work in growth and or marketing, or product management, these three terms, it's definitely something you must be familiar with: engagement, stickiness, and retention. But maybe if you're not, you're just a passerby, right? You might have also heard about engagement, stickiness, and retention. What does these terms mean? What do they stand for? What do they measure in terms of product development or product marketing? What should be your focus as a product owner, as a product marketer? Engagement, getting stickiness, or focusing on retaining your customers? Let's explore that in this video. About growing people and growing businesses, and that's all my channel is all about. I create videos about life, inspirational videos. I create videos on business, branding, sales, growth, and marketing. If this is your first time watching my videos, please click on the button below, subscribe there, click on the bell notification button so that you can always know whenever I release a new video. I try to be consistent at least once every week. Let's talk about engagement, stickiness, and retention. I'm going to define the terms. In simple terms, engagement is simply one user engaging with your product or your service or your website or your app. This could be anything from website visits to number of sessions to daily active users. These are things you can use to measure engagement. It's simply that people are interacting with your product or service. One person, right, or a set of different people, right, are interacting or engaging with your product or service. Sessions, website visits, traffic, click-through rates, these are things that measure engagement. Stickiness and retention, on the other hand, are two very similar terms. Very similar, they measure almost the same thing, but there's a slight difference, and I'll tell you. Retention is simply it's more holistic, and it measures the number of users who come back after using your product for the first time. It's more holistic. So you're going to be looking at things like weekly active users. You're going to be looking at things like CRR, which is customer retention rate. You're going to be looking at customer churn rate. These are metrics that you use in measuring retention. Amount of users who come back to use your product after the first time again and again within a certain period of time, which could be weekly or monthly. Stickiness is a product of retention, but stickiness actually measures how frequently one user comes back to use your product and how easily they share it. Stickiness is your users returning of their own volition, meaning that you don't have to use things like email marketing, push notifications, in-app notifications, etc., or different kind of product comms to get your customers to come back again. They're coming back because they want to, because they like it. They're sharing and talking about your product or service because they like it, because they get value from it. That is stickiness. Product market fit plus an optimized aha moment is what actually improves your stickiness. Product market fit meaning that you have found viability in your product and also in your market, that your target audience are genuinely, frequently, and consistently getting value from using and engaging with your product, right? You're fulfilling your promise. And then it's also that you have found your aha moments, that thing that when every user does it, they're like, "Ooh, this is our product. This is amazing." It's an optimized aha moment, and then you have a very sticky product. For your startup to grow, you want to actually start thinking about how to make your product very sticky, because stickiness would always get you retention. Stickiness would always get you retention. And so all those retention metrics, you will actually have a very high rate because your product is sticky, right? And things that you can do to improve stickiness and retention, it's things like introducing new features, new sticky features that will make your users stay longer, that will give them more value or get them to get more value from your product. It could also be things like using data to improve existing features or the user journey as it relates to your product. So how can you use data? People are already interacting and engaging with your product or your service. How can you get data from that? Then you use that data as insights and then use those things to optimize the experience that people get while using your product. Experience can actually make it. Another thing is use customer feedback. Ask your users what they want, what they will like, what makes them stay in with your product, what will make them share your product, and then leverage on that, work on that feedback, right? Actually utilize that feedback. Take your feedback very seriously. Another thing is communication, right? Don't ignore your customers. Communicate with them. The more you communicate with them, the more they will find reasons. The more you give them content, valuable content, like do a lot of content marketing, the more they would come to your product, or the more they will use your product of their own volition, the more also they would share it. And that's it, guys. Engagement, stickiness, and retention. Of course, you want to if your product works, people will engage with it. If it works really well and fulfills the promise, then you can get stickiness. And if you get stickiness, trust me, retention is going to be no man's business. A way to measure stickiness, I forgot to add, is focus on frequency. So what is like transaction frequency or purchase frequency per person? That's a way to measure what your stickiness ratio is. Another thing would also be percentage of referrals. If you have like a referral code or a share button, you want to check how often your users are of their own volition, like organically just sharing their referral links, especially when it's not even incentivized. Those are two things to let you know or give you an idea of how sticky your product is. How many times is one person coming, transaction or purchase frequency, and also are they referring people? What's the percentage of referrals we have versus all the users that we have for our product? Did you learn something? I'm sure you did. Let me know what you learned in the comment section. Also, share your thoughts, right? If you work in product or growth, share your thoughts about these 3 metrics. And make sure you don't leave this channel without subscribing. Also, share this video. Thanks. Peace out.